Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Smart Moves, the show where we showcase decks, but not right now. I'm Setsuko, and I'm joined by my co-host Slicky, who's angry, constipated. I'm not sure.
I am on the toilet right now. Yes.
Oh, that's a fancy toilet. It looks like is that a gamer toilet?
Yeah, and it's actually in the middle of my office.
All right. Well, we don't have too much to talk about today, which should be nice for once. So we're just gonna jump into it and get to the meteor stuff. So first thing we're gonna talk about is the StarCraft Celebration Brawl that is out right now. Still be going for another couple days. So this brawl, when you start it, you pick a class. Then when you start playing, you have a 10 card deck, and then you choose from 3 different groups of portals, and that puts these portals into your deck. They cost 1 mana. They give you a card, reduce the cost, and yeah, you get a lot of random things from it, but it's supposed to represent the 3 factions in StarCraft. So we have the Tech for the Terrans, the Mind for the Protoss, and the Swarm for the Zerg. Have you played this one, Slicky?
The Brawl?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
So
it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I played it once, won the first time, and didn't really feel compelled to go back. I think it's kind of lackluster for a StarCraft celebration. Thematically, it kind of fits, but
I mean, I understand it's a tribute, but it's really just like every other random stuff brawl. Here, have random things. So I'm like, cool theme, but meh.
So which portals did you choose?
I've tried all of them.
Oh,
I
okay.
just did different classes. I tried to match up classes with like what I thought that they would have. So I think I did Rogue, and I kept trying to do the Tech Portal so I could get like that little robot that buffs all the other robots, like Iron Sensei, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Tried to do that, and then Mage just made sense to pick Mind a lot of the time, and sometimes I try and mix and match. Sometimes I do Mage with Tech to try to get Soot Spewer. It's a pretty good card. So, yeah.
Well, I just went with Tech the first time. I think I did Mage and Tech, and yeah.
I do wish I had some of those old cards though, like Vol'jin. I wish I had Vol'jin. It's really good,
Hmm.
especially nowadays with. I mean, I guess it's a priest card, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would further enable their stupid shenanigans they're always doing, but it's
Yeah.
cool.
It's a card that I have that I've tried it a few times. It's not too bad.
Nowadays, they're running a lot of one of the big things that people started doing is pint-sized potion and void tear or void ripper,
Hmm.
and so they'll drop all the attacks to 0, then just kill everything. It's pretty rough.
Oh yeah, that's pretty gross.
Yeah, priest is becoming really just stupid again. I'm getting tired of it.
As long as they're not top of the arena, I'm okay. So yeah, I'm pretty underwhelmed by the brawl. It's cool that they did something. It was nice to get 3 kobold packs and not just regular old classic packs. So I won't say no to that. I got all dust, but you know,
At this point, I need more classic packs. I have like I don't know, probably 10% of the classic legendary.
mm.
I'd like more. Can you open Hall of Famed cards in classic packs?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Hmm.
I think they
Okay.
go the way of Wild, where you can, or like the adventures where you can craft them. So, all right,
Okay.
that's the Tavern Brawl. So we got a Q&A with Ben Brode this week. Gave a lot of background on kind of some things that we have heard about before in the past about how the game was developed and how different cards came to be, how they did balancing for going on turn 2. Some of the noticeable key points that were in here. The tournament mode that's supposed to be coming this year is going to be pretty basic to start with. It'll have conquest, last hero standing, picking the number of decks you need to have for the tournament. Inspire might come back at some point, but they're looking at doing more interesting stuff before then. I personally don't find Inspire to be the most interesting in mechanics anyway, so I'm okay with that. What do you think about Inspire?
Inspire was typically it was only good on cards in win more scenarios.
Right.
When you're already ahead on the board. The main ones I think of are Thunder Bluff Valiant was incredibly powerful if you were ahead, as was
the Murloc guy. Murloc Knight, he's pretty strong.
Murloc Knight was good. I was also Gvaldir Raider was really powerful if you were ahead. But like I said, they were all only good if you were ahead. Otherwise, they were terrible. Kodo Rider's still pretty fun if you can get the synergies going.
I think that, and this is going to come up when we get a couple little bullet points ahead here. I think that Grand Tournament had some cards that were good, still are good in Wild, but overall it was kind of a thematic flop because of the Inspire mechanic and the fact that they did go pretty heavily into the Inspire mechanic, and then it just wasn't that good. It wasn't that fun. I'm okay with them putting off the Inspire mechanic for a while. Couple other notable things. Ben says he likes the hero level system and how it can be satisfying. Making it longer than it is now could be nice, but they don't have any ideas. So he's basically just talking about, once you cap your hero level, there's nothing to do. And in MOBAs and things like that, they've kind of switched to a limitless hero level progression system where you can kind of just continue to level infinitely, and when you reach certain points you get rewarded. Like every time you level you get if we use Hearthstone as an example, it might be every time you get a level you get 10 gold, or every 5 levels you get a card, or every 10 levels you get a pack or something. Like that's something I might see them going with in the future. But either way, he says he likes the leveling system. They don't have any defined ideas to make it last longer, but maybe it's something they'll touch on in the future. So what do you think? I mean, I don't know how many MOBAs you played, but that is kind of how they work. They have loot boxes and chests and stuff that are a lot like card packs, and essentially, every level you'll get a low rarity, or, at certain key points every 25 levels, maybe you'll get an epic or a legendary chest, or what do you think? You have any ideas for progression beyond the level cap?
I've got all of the golden cards. I've maxed out every different class, and I don't having the golden cards, that was fun. I don't have a problem with that really, and I have enough gold. I do the quest every day, so I could get a pack every day. So having an extra pack or something every 10 levels, that's not really a big deal to me. But what I would like to see is just I max out every character. That took 2 years. It took a long time. And once I finished, I didn't get dick. I was like, okay, well, that was underwhelming. Could I at least have a card, even if it's not a good card, but a card that signifies, hey, this guy's played all of these things, or or a card back. I'd like a card back that's hey, he's maxed out every character. It doesn't have to be something that hinders other people's fun because they don't have it. But
right.
Card backs, or Captain's Parrot or something, just some little dinky, here you go, you did all this. That would be nice, something to acknowledge the fact that I did something that took a really long time. That would be nice. Even in Final Fantasy VIII, if you beat the toughest monster in the game, you got this little symbol in your aura that said proof of Omega. You beat the toughest monster. Something like that. I don't
Right.
care. Maybe it makes my little box when I turn on the game, like, I don't know, shimmer with gold or something. I want something that says you've done all these. And for, like, if I get all my characters to golden, I'd like something for that too. But it doesn't have to be important. It doesn't have to be something that other people will be, diminished by in their playing by not having it. It could just be purely cosmetic, but I would like something.
Yeah,
So,
and that brings up a couple interesting points, I think. One for me, which is, man, card backs, right? Like, at a certain point, I was talking about this with someone today. You can you can have too much of a what seems like a good thing, and at a certain point, it's just diminishing returns. You can have, even if you have 18 decks and you use a different card back with each one of those, and if you've been playing the game for a while, you've got way more than 18 card backs, and like another one and another one and another one, and we get one every pre-order, we get one every month. And I'm not saying don't keep making card backs, but this, they kind of feel like shitty rewards, I think. I think alternate heroes are, and then the other thing is your card back. You really only see your card back when it's sitting over there on your deck. Uh, and a great example of this is the recently released um, Horde and Alliance split card back, the one that you like, that's from the pre-order for Battle of Azeroth. You don't even see half the card. Like, the whole purpose of the card back is it's split in half with Horde on one side, Alliance on the other side. But you, as the player, only ever see it when it's over there in your little deck, and half of that entire design is covered up. You never see it as the player. And so I feel like card backs at this point are super overwhelming as a reward system. But I genuinely don't, we've got, they could give us gold, they could give us dust, card backs, card packs, alternate heroes. So at this point, it's like, what else could they possibly give us for rewards that still fits? Like, there's nowhere to display a title. They could maybe add that in so you could have titles.
yeah, flare or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, or maybe, and it's maybe your non-ranked player profile or picture or something like that could be specialized, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think they either just have to. I think at this point, to make really interesting rewards that aren't the same things we've been getting for 4 years now, they have to create some sort of new system or tweak some of the things that exist already. So.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see. Also, they've said that changing cards back to their original state prior to any changes will be made on a case-by-case basis if cards end up moving to wild. And this is a reference to what they did with Molten Giant by reverting the nerf to it and then putting it into the Hall of Fame. So they're just kind of covering their butts there and saying, we're not going to do that with every card, but we might do it with some cards. So
Yeah. I think we've already discussed this about how that wasn't really a big deal anymore because that people are already doing the Naga Sea Witch thing, so having two more giants that are slightly easier to get doesn't really matter.
yeah, I got that dropped on me the other day. That was
Yeah.
horrible.
One thing I do want to talk about that people keep asking for with from Broad and the team is buffing cards. I really don't like it when people ask, "Are you going to buff cards?" No, they will make a card that is exactly what you're talking about later. There's no
Yeah.
reason for them to buff old cards.
Yeah,
They can just
that's not how card games work.
yeah, like why would if they did that, then every different set they would just change all the cards, and that's silly.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, that's how they iterate on the game, is through new sets. That's how they get their money. They put out new cards. Yes, there's power creep to some degree, but a lot of that is just buffing a previously existing card but giving it a different name and theme and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, like what was the Booty Bay Bodyguard and Evil Heckler? Evil
Right.
Heckler, the same thing, 1 mana cheaper, and it get rotated out. It's gonna happen.
Well, and it's kind of like saying, well, why don't you buff River Crocodilus?
Let's
Because
let's not
they're,
talk about River
you
Crocodilus
know,
or that
uh,
1/4 3 mana whatever it's called.
yeah, there will be more, um, you know, 2 mana, 2/3s or whatever that do things, and there have been, and that's created a lot of variety instead of going back and taking every single one of those effects and just buffing River Crocodilus so it does like 18 different things. Um, So next up, pretty brief here. The enrage keyword is being removed from Hearthstone. The reason for this that they've said is that there are nine cards that use the enrage keyword, and they don't really have any intention to put more into the game because it's not as interesting of a mechanic. So for the sake of not having underrepresented keywords that people need to learn, they're taking the enraged keyword away. So as you can see, Raging Worgen here, 3 mana, 3/3, Enrage. Wind Fury and +1 attack is now getting changed to has +1 attack and Wind Fury while damaged.
Okay.
So whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really care.
I'm kind of glad they're doing it just because I never liked that Frothing Berserker and the 5 mana 2/7 weren't enraged minions, but they functioned almost the same as an enraged minion. That was just like needlessly confusing. So I'm kind of glad they're getting rid of it.
Yep, and I'm super indifferent. I don't think it matters. There aren't. If they were gonna go in on this mechanic and really make it a thing, then sure. But they've said that they don't have plans to do that. I did kind of feel like Enrage was a flavor of the warrior class, and so that getting taken away, that's probably the only place that it maybe kind of bothers me. But if you're instead saying, well, warrior does a lot of things with damaged minions, I'm like, okay, I get that, and that makes a lot more sense because you have plenty of cards like Acolyte of Pain, that don't enrage or whatever, but they deal with being damaged. So I think
Yeah.
this just takes those 9 cards and moves them over to there. So
Yeah, it's fine.
good stuff. All right, so we've got more details about the Year of the Raven celebration, where we're going to be able to get packs. So starting on March 26th, which is Monday, I believe. For every daily quest that you complete, you will also get a free pack in addition to your normal quest reward. So get your normal quests, you get a pack. They haven't said, there's no schedule or any kind of system that we're aware of yet to determine like what days you get what pack. So these are the questions being asked. Like, okay, on Monday, every daily quest that I do, does it give me an Ungoro pack? And then Tuesday it gives me Knights of the Frozen Throne, and then Wednesday it gives me Witchwood, and like, is it set up like that on a daily basis? Is it totally random? Like, if I do 3 daily quests on Monday, could I get packs from 3 different expansions, or does it rotate? And we don't know the answers to those questions yet, and those are kind of important, because if it is a system where you can save up your 3 quests, for example, on say Wednesday is the day that every quest completed will get you a Witchwood pack, then maybe you save your 3 quests for Wednesday, do them all, and get 3 Witchwood packs instead of getting stuff from the older expansions. We don't know how that system is all going to work out. All we know is that for about 2 weeks, we're going to be getting a pack every day for every daily quest that we complete. So, about 14, 15 packs or so. And free packs are great. And some of those will be Witchwood packs. So.
I'm confused by Hearthstone's wording here. It says free card pack from any year of the Raven set. I thought this was starting year of the Raven.
It is, but the old sets are included as part of the Year of the Raven.
Then what was Mammoth? Journey to Ungoro?
Year of the Mammoth was all. It's just the standard year, like it
Oh,
represents the rotation. So anything that is staying in the rotation is part of that year.
okay. So
So
not the things that are coming up in that year, just anything that's standard.
right.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
yeah. So this will be Journey to Ungoro, Knights of the Frozen Thrones, Kobolds and Catacombs, and Witchwood.
Cool.
Uh, So yeah, I don't think there's too much to say about that free packs. Just make sure that you've got 2 quests in your quest log before March 26th. That way, when it rolls over, you'll get your new quest and you'll have your 2 quests left over so you can do a couple extra. We don't have confirmation that it's going to work that way. It may work the way that the pack giveaway contest did, where you could only do 1 quest per day to get a pack. We don't have all the details, but it's better to play on the safe side and have the extra quests just in case. Also, it's a good idea to save the quests that you can decide when to complete them. So, for example, it's probably best to go ahead and get rid of the quests that say, like, deal 30 damage to a hero and keep the ones that say win 2 games with a warrior, because you can decide when you complete the win 2 games with the warrior, whereas the other one you can't. So, just a couple little tips, hints there, but that's about it. Anything to add?
Nope.
All right. Okay, so this is what I was talking about when I was talking about the Grand Tournament and the Inspire mechanic. We have confirmation now that there are no more even and odd cards coming for the Witchwood expansion. So we've got Gin Greymane, Baku the Moon Eater. Those are the 2 that this whole even odd mechanic revolves around. And then we have the 4 that we talked about last week, the Glittermoth, Gloomstag, Black Cat, and Merkspark Eel. That's it. So what do you think? What's your take on this, on like these being the only cards?
They always do this, and it's not like they always say, okay, well, these are the only ones that are specifically this. But that's not to say there aren't going to be a lot of cards that specifically synergize with these cards. I feel like that's going to be a thing. Or specifically don't. They might make some new super divine spirit or something that costs 4 mana, so that way Glittermoth and super divine spirit can't be in the same deck. Or, like with Big Spell Mage, they added Dragon's Fury that functioned similarly to Dragon Caller Alana. Not the same, but similar. So even though it says there aren't going to be any more specific even and odd, that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be any that are specifically designed with that in mind. Right. So that's my thought. And
literally every card in the set is going to be able to fall into one of those decks. Just by nature of they encompass all the possible mana costs. I am happy. I'm actually very happy about this because I like new deck building challenges, but I don't like being forced into them where it feels like, oh, okay. And this was an example, I think, for Ungoro, where they just were like elementals. And it's like, well, okay, if you want to make an elemental deck, you just put all the elementals in. Good job. You're super creative at at playing the game. And I hate that. And also, I'm glad that unlike Inspire, they're not specifically investing super heavily in the odd even thing. Because I feel like if the odd even thing doesn't really work out, then we've got kind of a similar thing where maybe we get some good cards from this expansion, but it overall feels like a flop because it's like, remember Inspire? Like, yep, those cards are pretty crappy. So I'm glad that they're not investing too heavily. I'm glad that this is it, because it really, instead of going into this expansion, looking at Gen Greymane or Baku, and then seeing, oh, okay, well, they added these 20 cards, so these are the best cards to use. Now it's like, okay, we have 4 cards for 4 different classes, so it really is on you as the deck builder to assess which cards fit. We're not telling you. Like, maybe some of them are pretty obvious, but we're not straight just tagging everything with even only, odd only, even only, odd only. So I really like that in particular. And that's something that I really liked about the Kobolds expansion, is they didn't just straight up say, okay, this is what you do. We put a keyword or something on every card, or a tribal tag on every card to tell you that this is supposed to go in this kind of a deck. So
Yeah, I think it's cool. And I think specifically for you and for wild players, it's really awesome because in standard, some of these cards might be overpowered if they had certain interactions. But in wild, so they're specifically not going to let you make those interactions in standard. But in wild, you can kind of compensate for some of these problems by having a much larger selection of cards.
Oh yeah.
And you can make some really wild stuff, I bet. Wild stuff. With some of these, because you have so many options that can cover what you're missing in standard.
Yep.
So I think these cards are going to be a ton of fun, especially in wild.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. And I'm really not even considering. I mean, we know I play mostly wild anyway, but I'm not even considering these cards or judging these cards on their standard implications. I'm just thinking about wild all the way. So,
right.
All right. Well, next up, there was another small little promo video, a fireside chat with Peter Whalen, and we got 2 more new cards. So we're going to talk about those. I know Slicky's really excited to talk about one of these, and I'm pretty excited to talk about the other one, actually. So in this video, he was talking about the echo mechanic, some of the history, what it was before, how it developed into the echo mechanic. And then in addition to showing us some of the cards we've already seen, we also got to see 2 brand new ones, Warpath and Face Collector. So Warpath is a 2-mana spell, common. It says Echo, deal 1 damage to all minions. So what do you think?
I think it's good. I feel like it's probably going to enable some pretty crazy OTKs with like Frothing Berserker and stuff. It's going to be really dangerous in that scenario. Like, if somebody gets a Frothing Berserker to stick 1 turn and then they can do this the next turn, that's just game over pretty much. You can get 3 hits on everything on board, you just win. I feel like Warrior already had a lot of whirlwind effects, so another one is good. It's not crazy, and since you play wild, like Bouncing Blade is really similar in a lot of ways. But I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's... I like it quite a bit. I think having a repeatable whirlwind without sacrificing your hero power is pretty good. There's a lot of applications with this. So, okay, remember way back when you first started playing, I had some weird warrior decks, and I used Axe Flinger. Right?
Yeah.
Like, this repeatable whirlwind thing for Axe Flinger. I'm like, okay, this could be cool. I need to figure out how to clone some. So you get your Axe Flingers down, you play Warpath once, you play the thing that clones them when they're damaged, and then you just Warpath the rest of your mana. That sounds fun. I'll try it out. I think there's a lot of fun applications of this card, and I don't really know how good it's going to be, but I like it. So
Yeah, I think one of the best things about it, and I don't think it's going to work this way, but if you wanted to have a warrior deck where you didn't have Whirlwind in it because it takes up 2 card slots, you could put this in there. And I think Ravaging Ghoul is rotating out, right?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because it's an old gods card.
Yeah.
So you can kind of fill that spot that you're missing with Warpath.
All right, so the next card is a legendary, a class legendary. So one of the ones you might randomly get when the expansion launches. And this is Face Collector. Super creepy name. It's a 3 mana, 2/2. Echo, Battle Cry, add a random legendary minion to your hand. So I know you're excited about this one, so I'll kick it off so you can counter my points. I'm mildly excited about this one. And the reason that I'm mildly excited and not super excited is because random legendary minions can be complete shit or freaking awesome. And that's a lot of random to put a 3 mana 2/2 on the board. So I'm on the fence. Like, I think that, when you hit the jackpot and you get the exact legendary you want, or you get some badass one that you don't own, or that's, from a different class, if that's possible, I assume it is, then that'd be sweet. But then on those times when you get like a Millhouse or, some trash tier garbage legendary, then you just played a 3 mana 2/2. So why are you so excited? I want to know.
Okay, first, I like random generation. I think it's fun.
I do too.
Rogue always has this kind of really low bell curve, the way the class works. Most of their spells are cheap or cost nothing. Their expensive spells, they kind of suck. Like Sprint is like because you're out of cards because you already used up all your other cards. And the legendary Death Knight for Rogue specifically gives you more resources because you're going to run out of cards. And Sonya Shadow Dancer, same thing. More resources because you have such small cards. They all work kind of the same way. What this enables you to do is late game, when your hand's getting thin, you can just add 3 legendaries to your hand. And you can also throw in hijinks like Sonya or Shadow Step. Or, if you're playing Wild, you can do Shadowcaster. You can get tons and tons of these things and just keep filling your hand over and over and over and over and be like, you're not going to outvalue me. Because that's always been a problem with Rogue. Rogue has never been a value generator. Like, it had the Steely cards, but that was normally kind of a one-off. With this, you can just, you're never going to get outvalued as Rogue as long as you have this card. You can keep bouncing it, keep playing it more and more, get tons and tons of legendaries, and say, no, you just can't do it. You can't beat me in a long game. I think this enables tons and tons of late game value generation that Rogue has never had. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Especially in Arena.
Oh, yeah. You always pick Prince Malchezaar if you have the option because you're going to get 5 legendaries, and some of them are probably going to be really good cards.
Right, and just, yeah. I definitely see this being a sick Arena card. And, yeah, I do agree. Any way to generate more cards is generally just pretty good. So we'll see how it plays out. Definitely creepy though.
Yes. As soon as I saw the name, I was like, "Damn, Face Collector."
Yeah. I was like, "All right, Blizzard, that's where we're going. Okay, all right, just tearing people's faces off, no big deal."
Yeah. So we got the Boogie Monster first, and now it's the Face Collector. Like they made a big leap there.
What's next, man?
Probably they're gonna have one that's all serial killers like Ed Gein and stuff and
Disembowel.
They do already have Eviscerate. That's pretty close. I guess it's always been Rogue's shtick to be really gruesome.
Yeah.
So
All right. So we have the reveal stream, the first reveal stream. Not sure if there will be a final one. There usually is. But we're going to have a little reveal stream starting on March 26th. That's also Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific. And that is also going to kick off the streamer celebrity website, card reveal thing, which is going to last 2 weeks. And this is just further kind of confirming that the expansion should come out probably the 12th. It usually comes out on a Thursday. So if they do release it early for some reason, then it'll still be, that week. We don't have an official date for sure, but I mean, all signs point to that. So I think the only thing Blizzard could do to not cause a riot is release it earlier. So we'll see what happens there. So that's coming, and along with that, we've got the card reveal schedule, and we got a little extra this time. So Blizzard released all the pictures, and when they did, the file names were visible with the names of the cards. So we now have picture plus name, and maybe we can guess at what some of these are, or just kind of generally talk about what looks cool or sounds cool.
Okay. First off, I saw a name in that big list of names. It was like Chamele something. Chameleos.
Yeah.
I bet that's a legendary. That sounds like a legendary card.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. The names are sort of giving away what the legendaries probably are. Although I don't know if I would have said Face Collector was a legendary. But all right, so we're just going to go through the pictures and the names, briefly kind of comment on them. We'll skip over them if we don't really have much of a clue. But I think we could at least probably do a class guess, or whether it's a legendary or not, or that kind of stuff. So first up, we got the Muck Hunter. So looks like a Worgen to me.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's all I got on that one.
Might be a hunter card. A lot of the hunter-ish cards normally kill something. Like, I think about who's that guy with a gun? He kills a beast.
Oh, yeah. Big Game Hunter? No. Toshly? Something like... I don't know. It's Hemant Nesingwary. It's one of his versions,
Hemant Nesingwary. Right? He's like a hunter because he's based off of what's his name, Ernest Hemingway. And then you have Big Game Hunter that kills a 7 attack or more. If I had to guess what Muck Hunter does, I bet it kills tar creepers. Think about it.
Yeah. I could see that.
And I'm thinking any of these guys that have like actual names, Lord Godfrey.
Lord Godfrey is definitely a legendary. He's a undead. I think he might be the other rogue one. He's from WoW lore. I forget exactly. He's a Gilnean noble. He became a Worgen, and then he became an undead. Oh, okay. That's right. He's one of the bosses in Shadowfang Keep, and he does pistol barrage and summons ghouls and
pew pew.
Yeah, he also does have a reference in the WoW TCG as well. Mm-hmm. He spawns ghouls when you put him onto the board, and then at the end of the turn, he does damage to the enemy hero based on how many ghouls you control. So definitely going to be a legendary, though.
Yes.
Hunting Mastiff. Hunter card?
Hunter. Yeah, they have all the dogs. They've got Timberwolf, Wolf. Mastiff is the 1/1 that comes with the one on the hunt card. So, yeah, definitely a hunter card.
Forest Guide makes me think Druid or neutral.
Druid. Yeah.
Wanted spell. It's got to be a spell.
It's definitely a spell. I'm wondering what class would have that. My first thought is recruit, just because of the artwork.
Right.
But I would also think it's probably a hunter card. Maybe rogue.
Maybe
But I
rogue.
could see a hunter like chasing things, trying to catch them.
Yeah.
Scale worm looks like a beast, probably a hunter card.
Yeah, or maybe like a. Well, are they? They're probably not going to give us the vanilla neutral crap. So all this stuff should be relatively interesting. I still might lean towards neutral with scale worm.
Could be. Bloodworm was neutral.
Vex Crow. I just want to say like I love that little artwork there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Uh,
Can't really tell what that is. Like a face behind a helmet. Oh no, it's
no,
three eyes.
it's his
Beak.
beak. It's his beak. He looks like
It's a three-eyed raven, like
yeah,
in Game of Thrones.
yeah. He looks like a really evil Psyduck or something from Pokemon. Uh, maybe Warlock.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Blackwald
Blackwall
Pixie looks creepy.
Yeah. Looks kind of like a mech. My
No,
first thought, like,
it's made out of wood.
my first thought is like, what is the 3 mana 3/1 that gives you a mana crystal? Pretty much anything that has to
Oh
do
yeah,
with
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Pixies
woods or
and
nymphs
stuff.
or pixies. Probably a
Druid.
druid card
All right.
that does something.
Coffin Crasher looks like
Got to
a
be a warlock or neutral.
neutral. I think neutral. Uh it's ugly. Darius Crowley. He's another definitely legendary. Possibly warrior. Um, maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Definitely legendary. Imerus is a legendary. That's a named green dragon from one of the dungeons in World of Warcraft. So. Maybe druid. I think maybe neutral though, because they weren't exactly good guys.
I'm thinking maybe rogue. I feel like they're kind of scaly, scary.
Mm, I don't know. Ravencaller, a real creepy goblin.
I mean, I guess all these are pretty creepy. Maybe it's a warlock card.
Yeah, maybe. Sound
Maybe
the
it kills
bells.
Vexpro.
Oh, true. Sound the bells. Definitely a spell.
Yep.
I have no idea what class though.
Paladin would be my guess because that you normally sound bells to signify danger coming.
Cheap shot. That's going to be a spell. It's going to be rogue.
You don't think it'll be hunter? I
No,
guess.
cheap shot is a rogue ability in World of Warcraft.
Oh, okay.
Black Hound gun turret.
Maybe like maybe they'll make Worgens a race, and every time you play a Worgen, it shoots something.
Like the pirates cannon.
Yeah, like the pirate cannon.
Ships cannon or whatever it's called. Yeah, maybe. I'm actually really interested to see what that one is. I think that one has piqued my interest quite a bit.
Yeah, normally when they have a cannon or a gun, it does like random
Yeah,
damage.
random damage, which I like. Lady in White.
Neutral.
Neutral. Yeah.
Priest maybe.
Cursed Castaway.
Something.
Yeah, no comments. Chameleos should be a legendary.
Yes. Sorry.
I want to say priest. I don't know the background of this character, so. Then we got another hunter, the Duskhaven hunter. No idea. Maybe warrior.
Yeah, it's got red in it.
Yeah, that's about. I was like, yeah, there's red. Yeah, sure. Bones.
Oxmonger has purple.
Right.
Probably
Warlock. Witching Hour. This is a really interesting one. A lot of people have said that because of the artwork, it looks like a quest. Like, how interesting would that be if we got a quest?
It does. It definitely does. It looks creepy, but there's no way it's a legendary card a neutral card because it has to be a spell.
Right.
So it has to be a class card. So maybe
or a quest.
Yeah, or a quest. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. I feel like it's maybe it's a card that like turns every Worgen into a werewolf or something.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Cathedral Gargoyle.
We already have one gargoyle that gives you a coin. Maybe this one will give you something.
Oh, we have the Stone Skin too. It's a neutral.
Stoneskin is a basilisk. It's not a gargoyle.
No, there's. Well, maybe I'm saying the name wrong, but there's
Oh
another
no,
gargoyle.
you're talking about the one.
Yeah, that gets its health back.
Yeah,
Woodcutter's Axe.
weapon.
Definitely a weapon.
I'm thinking hunter again, but not everything can be a hunter card.
Right. I'm like, well, where's Shaman? Where's Priest? Is nothing for Mage? Like, that's the thing. There's got to be some mix in here, right? Like somewhere.
Yeah, maybe, but I feel like last time they showed
They did.
all
They
of,
did
like,
leave a couple classes for like the very end.
yeah, or they just focused on the ones they thought were cool, and they didn't show the other ones. So it might just be mostly two or three classes they're showing.
Yeah. Deadly Arsenal. I've seen the full art for this one, and it's a dude standing there with a whole bunch of weapons, but it honestly looks like art from the Pathfinder RPG to me.
Well, if it's got swords and stuff, I would think rogue
I was
because they're all.
thinking Hunter, because or not Hunter, Warrior, because there's so many weapons, and in WoW,
That's cool artwork.
Warrior can use almost every weapon.
Hmm.
Witch's Cauldron, like all this stuff just makes me think Warlock, but I keep thinking like, what in here is thematically Shaman?
Yeah, maybe Witch's Cauldron's a shaman card. I could see that.
Yeah.
But I would assume that Witch's Cauldron is kind of like Summoning Stone, where it does something when you do something, and just it's kind of a passive card that sits on the board and does stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And then Wing Blast sounds huntery to me.
Spell.
Holy Water. I'm gonna
Priest.
Go Priest, I think, yeah. Duskfaller Avian, or maybe Shaman?
No,
Neutral?
maybe. Normally, aren't the avian things wasn't the Cabal Courier, wasn't that an avian?
Yeah.
So that's like the Magey class.
Maybe Mage. Yeah, maybe Mage. I think Spectral Cutlass, that could be Rogue.
That's gotta be rogue. That's like a pirate weapon.
Bog Shaper.
Oh, rogues are going to get ghost pirates. How Scooby Doo is that? That's cool.
Yeah. Bog Shaper's got to be neutral, I think.
Yeah, we had what Bog Creeper, or what was the one that Bog Creeper turned into, or was it vice versa?
I don't know.
Because they had the 3/6 with taunt, and then it got corrupted by the old gods, became a 6/8 with taunt.
Oh, that's
so it's
right.
probably a big taunt.
Yeah, probably another big taunt. Blood Witch. This was some of the out of the initial artwork. This is one of my favorites. Shaman. I mean, if we're going for this dark and twisted stuff, like Blood Witch sounds Shaman.
It's got to be a warlock, though. It's a witch.
Warlocks aren't witches, though. They're demons and fell magic and demons.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if Hagatha is a new hero card, I guess it makes sense that it could be a shaman.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Shaman there. Deathweb Spider. Wait, neutral?
Neutral, maybe rogue. Rogue has a lot of venomous things.
That's true. Dusk Bat. Hunter's got a bunch of bats, right?
They've got bloated bat, fire bat.
Dusk Bat. Dire Frenzy. That is a spell, and I am pretty certain it's going to be Hunter.
I think it's Druid.
Nah.
Because they've got Nash, Bite, Claw, Dire Frenzy. It's probably some gain 6 armored, gain 6 attack. Oh, it was a WoW card? I can't hear you, but I can see you talking. Yeah, your microphone's not picking you up. Okay, everybody. We're experiencing technical difficulties. He has to unplug and plug back in his microphone, apparently, because it's not working. Click clock. Click.
Oh, there we
Okay,
go.
there we go.
Yeah, Dire Frenzy is a hunter talent in World of Warcraft.
Okay, if you say so.
I do. Swift Messenger.
Paladin.
Interesting card art.
I feel like paladins are going to be kind of the Paul Revere class. You know, they're going to have like the townspeople doing things.
Paladins are pretty heavily mount focused in World of Warcraft. Like they have a charger, they've got an ability that mounts them up in combat and stuff like that. So I can see that. Doll Master Dorian. I'm gonna say Shaman Legendary. Doll Master, Voodoo Doll.
Plays with dolls. Yeah, who plays with dolls?
And then there's a Voodoo Doll right after that. So I'm still gonna say Shaman on that one.
I'm wondering if the Voodoo Doll is a token that comes from Doll Master.
Well, I don't think it'd be on the reveal schedule.
So I guess not.
Splinter Graft. That looks disgusting. That's got to be a legendary, right?
It looks like a spell. There are no legendary spells except for quests.
Splinter Graft looks like a spell, you think? Yeah, maybe.
The word graft means it's a verb.
Right.
So it makes me think spell.
What class?
Anything that has to do with wood, I always just assume is a druid. Ironbark, Splinter Graft.
Then we got Toki. Pretty sure it's a mage legendary.
Definitely a legendary. It looks like a tinkerer.
So yeah, it actually is I think she is the character for the dungeon run thing.
Oh, there was a dungeon run? Oh, you mean the hunt.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Mist Wraith sounds like a boring neutral to me.
I think normally cards like Wraith that have that word in them, because we already have the Mana Wraith, that raises the cost of all creatures by 1. And then we've got Keening Banshee that makes you discard cards. So I assume this is going to be some sort of overstated card that has a negative effect to it.
Mm-hmm. Bellringer Sentry. You gonna go Paladin again?
Probably Paladin.
Yeah.
It could be Warrior if Warriors are good in this. I feel like each class, like if you're a Warlock, you're going to be on the evil side. If you're a Paladin, you're going to be one of the townspeople. This is how this is going to kind of split up.
That makes sense. Crystal Knight. Warrior?
Could be. They got gem-studded Golem, so Crystal Knight makes sense to be a Warrior.
A legendary or no? I think it says the Crystal Knight.
Oh, the Crystal Knight. Then yes. That means you can't have 2 of them.
That's right. Can't have 2 of the Crystal Knight.
Crystal Knights, yeah.
Worgen Abomination.
Cool. We have 2 abominations. They both explode, but I feel like this one won't explode.
Neutral?
Probably have a death rattle, though.
Yeah. Town Crier. Neutral?
Neutral, probably.
One of the most ferociously cute artworks, the Totem Cruncher.
It can't be a card that targets totems, can it? Like,
if it's in Shaman, maybe.
I guess it could be like
eat a totem.
2 mana 2/2. If it eats a totem, give it +2/+2 or something. So you could like drop it on turn 2 or something and get a really buff minion, maybe.
Or every time you summon a totem, it eats it.
It is purple though. Maybe it's a Warlock card designed to attack Shaman. That seems really specific though.
Yeah. Countess Ashmore looks. I mean, it looks like a mage legendary to me.
Definitely a legendary.
She's got the arcaned out eyeballs.
Oh yeah. Well, she's a blood elf, right?
I think. I don't think so. Maybe.
She looks like Valera.
Let's see. Nope. Don't see anything as a reference to her, so.
Okay, this is something I want to bring up that really bothers me. So, if you look in the Hearthstone subreddit, there are stories for each individual legendary, but they don't like have a little pamphlet where you can go read the stories for cards that are specifically for Hearthstone. Like I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head, but like Sonya's Shadow Dancer, a Hearthstone legendary, but some of them they don't tell you what the story is, but they have stories. They created backstories for all of them. But the only way you can find out is like sometimes people ask specifically on Reddit, what's the story of this card? And then one of the creators will respond and be like, oh, this is the story. I want to know. I want to know all the lore. So that really bothers me. So if they don't tell me what the story is behind Countess Ashmore, I'm going to be annoyed.
Oh, I hear you. So what do you think on Book of Specters? Warlock or Shaman?
Like, I mean, everything that seems it's a book though. Kabbalah's Tome's rotating out. Maybe it's a mage class.
True.
They also have, what is it? Deck of Wonders, which has scrolls. They have Babbling Book. They had Kabbalah's Tome. But it is blue, which I feel like is more of a warlock color. Mage stuff's usually purple. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Mossy Horror. This is
Cute.
one of the coolest like little artworks we have here, I think.
Looks like Muzzy, like that old language Muzzy guy.
Or the guy from Monsters Inc.
Yeah,
the
him
blue
too.
guy. Yeah. So Archmage Arugal, I think he's a warlock legendary.
I could agree with that. Arugula.
I know it has Archmage in the title, but he's got fell energy all over him, which is warlock.
Maybe he can give you a spell like Archmage Antonidas, but it's not Fireball.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a what is it? Fell is what you said. Maybe it's like a fell Fireball that deals 6 damage to each character.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what we need is more of those.
Could be.
Bonfire Elemental. I think this sounds pretty cool.
Sounds pretty shaman. They do elemental stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Arcane Keysmith. Paladin. Well, no, Mage. It says Arcane. Mage.
Yeah. I like the name and the artwork. It's pretty cool. I feel like whatever it is, it does something cool. I feel like it's an RNG effect or something.
We haven't been saying priest for like any of these.
I think maybe Countess Ashmore could be priest.
Yeah. Witchwood Piper, priest.
Okay.
Druid of the Scythe. I mean, I would hope it'd be Druid.
Druid, yeah.
So, Bewitched Guardian, priest.
Looks druidy to me.
It does. It does look druidy. It's a night elf. There's all kind of like woods looking stuff going on. So, and then we have Paragon of the Light.
Definitely Paladin.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we will see as the card reveals come out whether our guesses were right or totally wrong. That all starts Monday. So it looks like, how many are we getting per day? 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're getting about 5 per day.
I hate to work at Blizzard while this is going on and have to be the guy that's like, okay, so now we're going to release this card at 2 a.m. in the morning. That sounds terrible.
So yeah, that's the pictures, the images, our guesses, all these shenanigans kick off Monday when we get the reveal stream. And then these card reveals start on Tuesday. So a lot of good expansion stuff coming down the pipeline here. I do have a question for us to close out the stream, and this was inspired by something that I personally thought of. But if you could take 2 cards from 2 different classes and not necessarily mush them together, but create a deck that includes both of them without the limitations of class and stuff. Like, what are just 2 cards that you really like? And maybe this doesn't exist for you, but 2 cards, 2 different classes, you really enjoy them, and you're like, man, if I could make a deck with these 2, it would be awesome. You don't have to think about how you'd actually make the deck. Just the 2 cards that you're like, man, if I could get these into the same deck, it would hit that sweet spot for me of a type of deck that I would really enjoy. And if you need a minute to think, I could tell you mine. Like, this spawned out of mine. I would make Book of Spiders. That would be the deck I'd want to create. It would have Deck of Spiders, rather. It'd have Deck of Wonders, the Rogue Spider Ambusher card, and it would just all be about playing those out and then constantly drawing cards and making your opponent draw cards, so you just get random effects all over the board and random spiders getting summoned in. And just, that's, like, for me, that's a dream. If they ever have a brawl where you can do something like that, that's what I'll do. I want to put Deck of Wonders in and get all those scroll triggers and then put all those spiders in and just get a bunch of spiders spawning on the board. Total RNG, total madness, but I think it'd be a lot of fun. So,
okay, the first thing that comes to my mind is back when I used to play, I think, Arena. Sometimes you would get really lucky, and this is before Raza Priest was a thing, but you would get Caldera Drake as a mage, and you would also have Raza. If you had Raza and Caldera Drake, you could just ping infinitely your opponent and kill them. That was kind of fun. But that was a really broken, stupid combo. But I would like to put... it's a priest card that never gets played. Mirage Caller. I'd like to put Mirage Caller in Rogue. It's a card that makes a 1/1 copy of something you already have. Now, if any class can use that, it's Rogue. Rogue does stuff like that all the time. And it's cheaper than most of the cards that Rogue has that make multiple copies of things. And it works as a battle cry. So I feel like it's a much better Rogue card than it is a Priest card. So I'd like to throw that in there, get some shenanigans. It'd be great with the Jades that are rotating out. There's all kinds of cool things you could do with that. With stealth stuff, There's all sorts of fun stuff. So that's one. And I think the card was called Light's Champion. I think it's a priest card. It's a 3/5, and every time somebody gets healed, no, it's Holy Champion. Every time somebody gets healed, it gets +2 attack. Do you know the card?
Yeah.
I'd like to take that and put it in a shaman deck. Just because if you can land the healing totem when you have a full board, it will just go crazy.
Or Healing Rain now.
Yeah, or Healing Rain. You could OTK people really easily. I've tried to do it with the little 1/2 Light Warden, but it's not like it doesn't stick enough. It's only got 2 health. It's really easy to remove. But yeah, putting Light's Champion into a Shaman deck seems like a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, that is the question that we've got to close out the show. So with everything that is coming up on the horizon for the next couple of weeks, we're not fully set on exactly what we're going to do, but I imagine we will probably hop in for more frequent, shorter streams to cover the cards that have been revealed, and that'll pretty much be all we do on those streams. Just kind of hit it and quit it on the different cards that are coming out. Otherwise, I'm super excited. We have all this artwork. I love the theme, the direction. It's really weird for April, but I don't care. Um, so yeah, getting ready for we got what, 2.5 weeks left or so.
If you say so.
About 3 weeks. 3 weeks we should have a new expansion on our hands, and that'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, anything
It'll
you want to
whenever
add?
my next big test in college is. That's when it will come out.
Definitely. Uh, yeah, I need a release date. I got to take some days off from work. Yeah.
No, I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, it's always fun. And personally, I'm sure a lot of people hate it, but I like that they're moving into a memeier territory, getting more explorative with their cards. Cobalt and
Oh yeah.
Catacombs had a ton of fun stuff that you could do. As opposed to like back in the day, like Grand Tournament, everything was like, this card's really good, this card's bad. But now they're like, well, maybe if I combine this with this, it could work really well. And it's much more experimental. I like
Right.
the direction that they're moving their expansions in.
And I like that they are taking thematic liberties. And I like that they moved away from the direct WoW correlation and it gave them the freedom to do something like this, but they also still have the ability to go back to and touch on anything World of Warcraft and incorporate that in. I will say, just off the top of my head, I'm waiting for the. We're gonna get a lot of hates for this. I'm waiting for the Mist of Pandaria themed expansion where it's all, East Asian influence, and we're gonna have samurais and ninjas and all that stuff. So hopefully that comes down the pipeline somewhere. But it does look like we're up for some ethereals in the next expansion, and like the one after Witchwood, and then some trolls or something like that afterwards. So, but that's going to be it. So until next week, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later.